This video is made for adult collectors because the last time I talked about this toy was 8 years ago. God damn. He mixing and mastering like it's all. He fell on the floor. Rest in peace, Mixmaster. This was $1 at the dollar store. Transformers are 3 toys in one, essentially. A toy robot, a toy car, animal, whatever, and a puzzle. And that last part is true for some, even with the instructions. There are a few examples of toys that can seem way too, well, puzzling. Dark of the Moon Leader Sentinel Prime, Revenge of the Fallen Leader Optimus Prime, and this thing. This is Revenge of the Fallen Voyager class Mixmaster, and I'm starting in alt mode because if you haven't ever seen this before, how this unfolds is very interesting. This is an awesome truck mode. It's a teeny bit stubby in its proportions, at least to what I'm used to seeing here on the roads, but this is a nice truck mode. It has all the details you'd want, like good lord, the steps on the sides, the hubs on the wheels, the paint on the wheel arches, the front grille, and all the stuff at the back. It's great. The mixing drum is fantastic, though the Decepticon symbols are the wrong orientation. However, I don't care. It doesn't spin, but I also don't care. It just feels nice in the hand. Almost everything sits in place very well, other than the smokestacks and the stuff on the back. It's all ball jointed and it likes to move. Kind of annoying. He rolls well, so yay. Now let's unfold this thing and watch it grow in both ways, actually. It gets wider and taller. It's such a complex transformation. My dad's outside doing yard work and my dog is upset that she's not outside, so if she barks, I apologize. But Mixmaster almost fired the missile. This thing does a really good job at self-containing itself, which is why I was like, hey, I want to show you how this unfolds, because most of the robot lives in here, which is kind of surprising. So to start with, what we're going to do is actually clean up this back section. So we're going to fold that up and like straighten it out there, bring this down, fold this in, and then this missile will just come out and you can just sort of fold it up back there for now. Then we are going to unpeg the wheels. They tab in 2 spots down here, and then you open this up, and oh my good lord. This usually scares a lot of people, but it's not super difficult. Open that up. You can kind of actually also see there's a little bit of tissue hanging out here because I put tissue in here a long time ago. Because I floor polished this joint, and it still wouldn't stay, so I had to wedge Kleenex in there. Now what we're going to do is take this, open this up, pull the front cab out, which can do the whole like front cab truck thing when you have to check the engine, but like his feet are there. But you bring this out and then you bring it all the way down. Then we're going to rotate it 180 degrees, fold out this little tab here, and then just leave that. You're going to bring these legs all the way down. There's his head. Hi, Mixmaster. You then want to bring this up while rotating this section. It will clip into place. Then you want to rotate these up and over like that. Bring the smokestack forward, up and over, smokestack forward. Then we're going to compress this, squeeze it together. There's the torso all finished. So get that out of the way, split this, rotate these 180 degrees at the hip while bringing the hips down. They're on a double hinge and a swivel, so you can do that so that the tires are inside. Then you bring these flaps out and then rotate them. Unfold the feet, flap out, rotate, unfold foot, there we go. And that is his legs all done. So now we're going to take this, actually no, you're not supposed to peg that in. Take the missile pod, bring it up, it pegs into the back there. That stays here, that's for cannon mode, what I just did. And then you want to take this section here, accordion it in, and that tab we folded out is going to go into that slot right there. So you line that up, you get that situated, and there he is. He's a little loose because he's old, and I played with this a lot when I was a kid. But there we have him. Standing. Now we want to work on the arms. I've seen a lot of people like on eBay listings and things for this figure just do this and call it a day because I couldn't be bothered with it. But the arms work very, very specifically. So you just untab them from each other, right? And bring this down. You bring this section up and then you double hinge it right here so that it goes in and this sits up here. Then you take this section, right? And you rotate it down so that it clears this hinge. You bring this back, you rotate this entire hinge 180 degrees until this is now sitting up like this. And then you take this section here, we're going to rotate it down, accordion that in, fold out the hand, and then I personally like it when this is sticking out like that. So I'm going to stick it out like that. But that's the arm. That's literally it. That's all it takes. It looks a bit intimidating and scary, but it isn't actually. I'm gonna do this just for now, but it's not super intimidating and scary. It's really easy. And there you go. It's a little bit hard on mine because he is a little loose because haha, old toy. I can fix that. I just have been too lazy. Then we're just gonna extend his head out just a little bit so that it's not, whoa, and we'll fire the missile out of his back. Where did that go? Ah, crap. Oh, there it is. I also just found MPM Bone Crusher's instructions. I don't have MPM Bone Crusher anymore. But yeah, there you have Mixmaster. That's a lot of stuff this does to look like one of the aliens from Independence Day. But I love it. It looks, well, super alien and fits so well with the Bay aesthetic. I think this is like the perfect example of, hey, what is the Bayverse aesthetic? This. There is so much going on, especially with the arms. This copy is also loose in a lot of places because I played with it so much, but it still stands mostly. I will say over time the mixing drum parts have gotten a bit loose and tend to pop off their ball joints every once in a while. He is also a bit top heavy and the entire front of the truck is just hanging out back there. However, it is removable, so there is that. But the little hole leaves like a butthole at the back of Mixmaster. He just looks like violence. Head sculpt is, again, yeah, that is straight up just the Independence Day alien underneath the little helmet thing. The color they used for the face is a bit weird and it makes the details feel mushy and lost, especially in the little mandibles he's got going on. So this is an older figure, and it's an older figure that looks like, well, this. So that means that he's a little bit unwieldy to mess with when it comes to posing. Like doing a couple of the poses you saw throughout this video, like the one where he's staring at Ironhide, he would not want to stay standing up. That's more due to his ankles being loose than anything else because this is old. But yeah, he's a little unwieldy. So the head is on a ball joint and then a triple jointed neck system, so you can do that. The shoulders, they can rotate here, go in and out, they can go up and down here. You've got forward and back here, rotation, the bicep swivel, sorry, up and down, elbow in and out, wrist move, thumb move. There are so many joints in here, not to mention this is on a hinge and a swivel, this is on a ball joint and a hinge, this is on a ball joint and a hinge. So like you can orient these arms literally however you want, which I think is cool, but it also means that it can be a little bit hard to display him. He's got no waist joint. The hips can go forward. They can't really go back that much because the truck gets in the way. They go out, but you have to bend them out at this joint here. If you bend them out at the innermost joint, this bumps into the truck cab and pops it off. So you have to bend it at the furthest out joint to get the hips to go out. He does have thigh rotation. He does have over 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and you've got the knee pad that moves. And if you swivel the thigh, you can see in there, that's the Mecha Alive. And then the ankles can go forward and back, and he does have a toe joint because of transformation, so that's actually really cool. But yeah, because of his loose nature and his top heaviness and the slight unwieldiness of the arms, he can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to stand up. If I hang on. No, I don't have enough power to do that. But he could fall over at any given point. Now, he is a triple changer. Yeah, he does have 3 modes, the third mode being his gun emplacement mode. The regular one looks like a dude that fell over. So I'm going to show you the sort of orientation I like putting it in. I never do the gun emplacement mode, though. Because while this mode is cool, he does use it briefly twice, and then this, and then this. Okay, so let's just fudge him into a cannon mode. So essentially what I like to do is get the shield pieces around the gun, and then everything else is just stability. So what I'm going to do is take the truck cab and bring it out and rotate it around and fold the tab in. Then we bring this section out. This comes and clips into place. And then this piece will come down and tap into the spout at the back. So now the cannon is sticking straight out the back. In the movie, he just sort of jumps forward and jumps back, which you can kind of do with this, but also it doesn't really stand. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the head, bring it out and fold it all the way up so that you can still see him when he's shooting. Then we're going to take the arms, and this is the hard part. So I'm going to fold the hands up on both sides and then rotate this around. And now it's just a matter of getting this oriented into a, whoops, having that fall off, orienting this into like a star pattern of sorts. So we're going to bring that forward, and then we're going to bring this one forward. Just get that lined up. There we go. We have that. We can just do that on this side as well. Okay, now that we have that somewhat lined up right there, I'm gonna take the legs, rotate them at the thigh swivel at the back here, and then just sort of get the truck cab out of the way, and then bring the legs down so that they make contact with the ground. There you have gun emplacement of sorts. It fires a missile. which is cool. I'm surprised I still have the missile. I usually lose those, but yes, that's the type of gun emplacement that I usually go for, because I think this looks cool. It's not lined up properly, but I couldn't be bothered. And then the back just kind of looks like that. For the cannon mode, there isn't a really good way of doing it, because again, the original cannon mode that the toy actually does is just him falling over, and it doesn't tab together. This doesn't tab together either. This just, I think, looks cooler than a man with the legs over his shoulders. So there you go. Yeah, the gun emplacement mode, it's not as good as I remember. But I really like this toy. It is definitely not for everyone. It can be a bit impossible to some, but I like it a lot. And it's not too terribly expensive if you want to find it for cheap. And there's a G1 colored version, which I do want to get. It's on my TFCon Toronto list this year. But I think it's neat. However, if you want something to play with, just to get the Studio Series one, it's a much nicer experience overall than this. It's more solid, it's more sturdy, it's got less steps, it's a little bit more fun. But that's been my look at Revenge of the Fallen Mixmaster. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.